A lot of people, especially coaches, we sometimes have this idea. It's like, how are we going to get our knowledge out there? How are we going to get our value out there? And you want to know my secret? How I'm able to show up every single week and I do my live streams, or I'll just show up on camera and just talk about something. It's very simple. I don't have a script. I don't even really go with too many bullet points. Sometimes I just have a list and then it's like, okay, these are the topics I'm talking about today. And then I block them out. So I write out a list of like maybe 21 things, and that's my series. So I have, for example, I have 21 cesarean traps. I had 10 labor traps. I had 20 natural birth traps. Then I did like 5 each week. And it was really just a list. And then you know what I did? This. I shared from my heart. I had a little bit up here, but mostly it was from my heart. It was sharing stories. It was sharing examples. It was sharing things I've seen, because the truth is that when you truly know your stuff, you don't need a big fancy script. You don't need a whole bunch of bullet points. You don't have to try to remember what order to put things in. It becomes natural when you're just sharing from your heart. It becomes easy when you're sharing from your heart. And also, it becomes a lot of fun. You're not sitting there every week and going, oh God, I have to make content and I don't know what to do. It's more like you get excited and it's like, oh my God, I can't wait to share this. And sometimes it's not even about the content. Sometimes it's not even about teaching something in what your actual field is. Oftentimes I just share insights from my own life. In fact, I'm actually thinking of taking these videos I've had as my video diary on my personal page. I think I'm going to put them on YouTube now. Why? Because the moms need to hear it. They need to hear this stuff. And I started sharing in my group recently. And it was just a picture of me in my red dress and telling moms, is like, you know what? You don't have to dress a certain way to be a mom. Like, you can just be yourself. And they loved it. And the reason I took that picture in the first place is just because I really like to have a little fashion show and I really like to dress up. And my daughter wanted to take pictures of me and I let her. She's still learning. My son takes the better pictures. He's going to be a photographer in training. But she tried and she got a few good ones, and I'm still going to train her. But it was just fun. I just love it. And I love that it's getting to be warm weather again. So I was really celebrating about the fact that I get to wear sundresses soon. Oh, it's 11:01. There is another angel number. I shared a little bit a while back that I've been tracking the angel numbers. So that was just a nod from the universe that I'm on the right track. I love that. Anyway, so see what I mean? I don't even have a script here. I don't even really know where I'm going with this. It's just the idea of coming from your heart. Social media is all about coming from your heart. Talking to people is all about coming from your heart. I used to be in sales a long time ago. I mean, technically, I'm still in sales as a coach, but I don't really approach it as sales. But I remember being told that we had a certain script that we had to follow to get people to buy things. And I hated it. I hated it. It felt so inauthentic to do it that way. It's like, I'm going to say some words and suddenly you're going to just do exactly what I want. No, there was no authenticity, and they could feel that it wasn't authentic. On the other hand, when I just had like a guideline to follow, it's like, I think there was like the 7 steps of selling, and I can't remember all of them, but one was greeting the customer. Then there was determining their needs. Then it was presenting the merchandise. Then it was making sure they had their options, overcoming objections, closing the sale, and inviting them back. Now, obviously, like, somebody could take that and be like taking a checklist and going, yep, I did that. Yep. That's not how I approached anything. When somebody new came into my store, I would get all excited because, yay, a new person to talk to, which is weird because I'm an introvert. And normally I didn't like to talk to people. I hated going to parties. But in that sense, that was my social hour. So it was really funny because my stepmother, she would see me after I get home from school and I wouldn't go out. And if I got home from work, I would not go out again. And she's like, you should be out socializing. It's like, but I literally socialized all day long. I'm done socializing. I'm going to relax. And so for me, going to work was a chance for me to connect with people. So I'd have customers come into the store that would literally just come in on days they knew that I was working because I was just so bubbly and they just loved me. And they sometimes even came in just to say hi. They didn't even come in to buy anything, but I was always excited to see them. And every once in a while, it's like, oh, I remember like you were looking to go away on a trip. Well, this new luggage just came in. And I know that like you have some concerns and you wanted this, and oh, it's your favorite color. Check that out. So I would really get to know people and they would buy from me and they would tell others about me and they would send people. And one of my wonderful mentors and best friends and adopted mommies, Lynn, she's amazing. She was the manager of the store that I was working with. And like I was the assistant. And we did cross promotional things, which was really cool. Again, it's all about relationship, it's all about heart. Because Lynn and I had the heart inside that store just thrived. But when we left, and when another one of our managers left, it wasn't the same. It wasn't the same store. So the thing is it's not just about the brick and mortar, and it's not just about a company. It's about who's behind it. When you change management or when you change somebody out of an area and suddenly it's like nothing's working anymore, it's because you don't have the heart anymore. You lost the heart. You need to have that heart. So I don't know what the future holds for my empire that I'm building. All I know is one thing. If my children don't want to take it over, I'm going to have to look really hard to find somebody who is going to love my legacy as much as I do, because I can't just pass it on to just anyone. And I know that's like thinking way ahead in the future, but that's the thing is it's got to have that heart. So even when I was looking for mentors on how to build my business, I was looking for the people who really got the heart of what I'm doing. And even in any other aspect of my life, if you don't get the heart, if I don't have the heart from you, I can't buy into what you're selling. It may be awesome, but if you don't have that passion behind it, it's not going to work. And so with my content and my videos, what makes them so great and what people really love, yeah, it's a lot of information, but there's also that heart behind it. And there's the stories behind it. And there's the bubbly energy behind it. And that's just me. I cannot replicate the same thing that I've already done. So it drives me crazy when I go and I talk and I have the video and it's like, well, I need to replicate this and change things, but I can't, because if I do that, I'm going to lose the heart of what I was feeling at that time. So at this point, I think I might put some of my old stuff on, even though I've got bad lighting, even though my hair is a mess, and even though my background isn't that great, but my heart was in those. And yeah, that's really it. That's the secret to happiness. If you do not have the joy in your life, if you don't have that sense of humor, and Donald and I were talking about this earlier on our call that we do on Thursdays. If you want an invite, all you have to do is send me a message, let me know, and I'll get you in on this. This is really cool. It's Donald Stojak Talks to Interesting People. If you want to know what we talk about, you can go onto Google and type Donald Stojak Talks to Interesting People, and it'll pop up. All of the videos are on YouTube. So like today's was pretty awesome too, with my friend Ari. So I'm just going to tell you, like, you go check these out. These are freaking epic. What we're doing is just like, there's no sales, there's no fluff. It's just like really good, valuable content out there. There's heart behind it. Ari has such a beautiful heart. And I love talking to him too. So, I mean, these messages, share them and check them out. And if you want in on it, if you want in on the fun, and you're an action taker, all you have to do is send me a message, right? And that's part of the secret though, is you got to get around people that make you smile, that light you up, that you can also light up around, because you need to be able to be yourself. If you don't feel like you can be yourself, if you don't feel like you can be goofy, if you don't feel like you can have that humor that you're known for by your friends, that your friends love, but if you're around a group of people and you're like, they're not going to appreciate my sense of humor, so I might as well just hold back, it's not going to be that much fun. You got to be with people that really appreciate your sense of humor. And I mean, Donald and I, we were talking about that. It's like, you got to have fun with life. You can't just sit there and just like be boring or putting up some airs or whatever. Like, no, you got to be real. And that realness comes through. It's your heart that comes through. And that's what connects people. That's what gets people working with you. That's what gets people referring others to you. That's what gets people in like a relationship if you're looking for a partner. That's what you get friendships from. You don't get friendships just because you're like some smart person. You get friendships because you have heart. And if your work is not lighting you up, you go to that job every day and you're like, oh, I cannot wait until the day that I quit. Or if you're living your life and you're like, oh, I can't wait till the day I die. Like, if you're looking forward to death, you're not living. You're not living. You got to change something around here, because you shouldn't be looking forward to death and being like just going through the motions waiting for death. That's not how it works. I mean, you can get excited in a moment and think, I can't wait until the end of my life when I've given all of my gifts and my legacy is passed on to the next generation, and then I can go on my new adventure. But if it's like, oh, living is so hard, I don't want to do it. I'm just waiting for death so that I can just go to sleep and not deal with it. That's different. That's different. You got to change something. And what you got to really change is find things that light you up. Find things that make you happy. If that's sharing a poem just because you want to share a poem and don't care if you get any likes on it, it's just like, I'm just going to share this thing. And it's something that's from my heart. And if anybody doesn't like it, that's fine, because I like it. It's doing a painting, making something pretty, or doing a craft. One of my friends, Gloria, she makes hats, and they're really, really cool hats. You should check them out. I forget the exact, I think it's called Families for Joy, and she's got an Instagram, but oh my gosh, her hats are so freaking cool. I love her hats. I even have a picture of me modeled in a hat. I have to find it. It's buried in my phone under 8 million pictures, because my children are always stealing my phone and taking pictures of the cat. So I have probably about 50 pictures of the cat in the same pose on the same day in the same hour. You know, it's how kids are. They love the phone. I used to joke a long time ago that I was going to take all of the pictures that Hunter had snapped on my phone and I was going to give them to him. But then my house burned down and my computer burned down, and all those pictures of his foot and the door handle and his fingers and all that from when he was 2, they're all gone. So I don't have them, but I have the memories of him doing that. And that's what matters, right? Anyway, this is getting a little long and my kids are waiting for me. I promised Michaela that I would play more Kingdom Hearts and let her watch. And then we're going to watch Cinderella, and we're going to sing the songs. And then I'm probably going to do something with my son later. He probably wants to play Mario again. And yeah, I'm just going to invite you to share your heart. I'm just going to invite you to put a picture up just because it makes you happy, or tell somebody that you love them just because you do, and not have it be weird. Not have it be like, "Oh, I said I love you and now you're probably gonna think I'm weird." No, 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 no. If you truly love somebody and appreciate them in your life, I tell my friends I love them all the time now because you know what? Life's too short to not say that I love them. And I love my kids, and I'll tell my kids when I find joy in the things that they do. And the more I do that, the more I share my heart and don't censor it, the happier I get. The more amazing things happen. So I'm just going to say, like, if you want that secret happiness and success, you got to have your heart. You got to have your heart in everything you do. You cannot close off your heart because once you close off your heart, that's when the energy leaves and then it's not going to work anymore. You're going to feel like you're doing something just for the sake of the success or just for the sake of the recognition or just for the sake of the money, and it just won't feel aligned with what you really need to do. And people will feel that around you. It's like when you're in a relationship and you're just going through the motions and you're really just like, I'm just here because I don't want to be alone anymore. I'm just here because we've got kids together. But I am secretly happy when you leave the house because then I have my freedom. That's a terrible way to live. I can tell you that's a terrible way to live from experience. And I mean, now my ex and I, we can be friends and we can just be like orbiting each other's lives and be there for the kids. But I'm not sitting there and hating my life by staying with him. I'm like, he's able to be free and I'm free and we can be happy for each other because all relationships, they're either the one or practice for the one. That's one of the best pieces of wisdom I ever got. And so I'm like, okay, that was practice. And then once it stopped being fun, I left because it wasn't going to turn around and it didn't need to turn around because I meant for something so much bigger and so much more exciting. And I cannot wait for it to come into my life. This guy is just going to love me so much and I'm going to love him and it's going to be amazing. And I mean, we'll probably drive each other crazy too, but like it'll just work. It'll just be magical because that's the secret. I believe in true love. I know that it exists. And I know that happily ever after exists. And I also know that you make your own happily ever after because as Cinderella says, if you have courage and you're kind and the dream is the wish your heart makes, like all of that, it's the truth. It's the truth. It's what I'm living every day. I'm sharing my heart. I'm sharing my dreams. I'm sharing my happiness. I'm sharing my light with you. And I just want to remind you that, yeah, I'm sharing my light with you, but it's also to show you that you've got a light inside you and it's in your heart. And it's that little spark that makes you want to share something. And you might be like, oh, maybe I shouldn't share that. But if it feels right to you, if it doesn't feel contracted, if it feels expansive, if it's like, if I get this thing out, I'm going to feel so great, then do it. All right. I'll see you soon.